A worker was installing vinyl siding on a 2-story townhome. He was standing on a ladder that was placed on top of a scaffold. A coworker was on the scaffold cutting pieces of siding. The scaffold had no guardrails. The workers were not wearing any fall protection. While standing on the top step of the ladder, the worker putting up siding overreached to one side, and the ladder overturned. He fell nearly 20 feet and landed on the driveway below. He died later that day from injuries caused by the fall.
What is a scaffold? A scaffold is a temporary elevated platform to support workers, materials, and tools. Hi, I am Steve Heiss, Safety Director with Approach Management Services. There are two basic types of scaffolds, suspended or supported. A suspended scaffold is supported by non-rigid means, while supported scaffolding is supported by rigid components. Examples include tubular or frame scaffolds. The number one serious injuries to workers on scaffolds are falls. So when is fall protection needed while working on a scaffold? Fall protection must be provided on any scaffold 10 feet or more above a lower level. Fall protection can consist of fall restraints such as guardrail systems or personal fall arrest systems such as an anchorage, lanyard, and full body harness. This is important to note. Personal fall protection systems used on scaffolds must be fastened to a safe anchorage point, independent of the scaffold, and be protected from sharp edges. The worker should be attached by a lanyard to a vertical horizontal lifeline or a structural member capable of keeping the worker from hitting the lower surface below without failure of the anchor point. If the only attachment points for fall protection are on the scaffold, you must get approval from the manufacturer and follow their design and requirements. Remember, contact the scaffold manufacturer to make sure you can even use part of the scaffold as an anchorage point. Those who are building or installing scaffold must wear fall protection unless otherwise approved by a competent person will determine the feasibility and safety for employees erecting or dismantling supported scaffolds. The competent person will look for guardrail systems to be installed along all open sides and ends of the platform and must be in place before the scaffold is released by the competent person for use by employees. Not only will the competent person look at fall protection, but will inspect the entire scaffold before the system is placed in the service. The competent person will identify stability, electrical hazards, overloading potential, and access. When you work from a scaffold, you must be trained on proper scaffold usage, including how much can the scaffold hold? What are the potential electrical hazards? What type of fall protection will be used? And unique hazards associated with this job while working from the scaffolding. Some additional critical points to remember. Do not alter the scaffold unless the competent person has determined that it is safe to do so. Use the correct methods of access to the different levels, and do not use a ladder on the scaffold or other means to gain additional height on the scaffold. If you're using mobile scaffold, make sure the wheel casters are locked in place and cannot be moved when working from it. Swing stage scaffolding is another type of scaffolding where non-rigid means are used to support the scaffolding working surface. The general requirements for non-supported scaffolds are pretty much the same as the supported scaffold. So a couple of questions you should be asking yourself in review. Who is a competent person, and have they said that it is safe to work from? Will there be weather issues? If I must alter the scaffold, whom should I contact? Working from a scaffold can be done safely when properly installed and used. In fact, it may be the best place to work from when you need to work at heights. But never assume or take chances. Make sure the scaffold you are working from is correctly constructed. Let's be safe out there.